What up, y'all? Back with another video. Tonight I wanted to talk to you about the three roles that you play uh, for the narcissist when you are the primary source of supply, and the grade A supply, you become the spouse to the narcissist. Like, so you get married. Um, when the narcissist meets you, they know that you're going to be a good grade A supply with a lot of empathy and give them a lot of reactionary type of emotional support and be able to regulate them real well and to do what you're told and be in that cohesive coercion. And so they, of course, they look for the fill, right? The protector, the helper, the person, man or woman with integrity, the man of their word or woman of their word, and then someone who truly loves them and, loves them unconditionally. So that's what they look for. If they can get looks, they'll take looks. And they really like success, if they can find a successful person, somebody with financial assets, and a good job stability, and somebody who's orderly. They like those kinds of things. And if they are somewhat so they like people that they could branch off and use their sources of supply, meaning their friends and family, but also they kind of like the idea in some cases where you are already isolated, so they don't have to do the work of isolating you so much. And a lot of empaths are isolated sometimes as they get older because there's so much toxicity out there. At least till you wake up and you understand energy and how to control it. But so the trauma bond occurs. A lot of times the trauma bond will never get into if you're a grade A supply, and like I said, they like to marry you within like 4 to 6 months. That's how quick they are, because they can't keep that mask on. And eventually, if you find out who they are, you're gonna be like, yo, I shouldn't have got married to them. But they want it to be almost like too late by then. So they're gonna love bomb the heck out of you if they know that you're this type that they've been scoping out, and because they target grade A. Grade A supply gets targeted. That's a planned situation. Now when it comes to the B's and the C's and the tertiaries, secondary and tertiary type supplies, those are not planned or meant sometimes to be kept for very long, because sometimes they just want to have a fling. Like, you used to hear the one-nighter, right? Narcissists have one-nighters too. I mean, it's not like they keep every source of supply that they've used. So the thing is they're going to love bomb you and get you trauma bonded, and they'll test it, but they're not going to get you in a devalued, defunct state if they can help it, to a point to where they're going to discard you. They'll only usually discard you if at the point to where they can't control you, or you're starting to wake up within that period of time. Then they'll discard you and give you some time off. And they'll also discard you and give you the silent treatment to get you back in line. So these are things that the narcissists will do. But when they typically will do the trauma bond where they love bomb you, and then they get you married within 4 to 6 months. I would say like 4 months. It's quick. And then they tell you love you right away. They hook the pipes up, man. They're already draining your energy from every which way. Energy, financial, your health, everything's going downhill. And then, they move in very quick, and they make your house their house very quickly. Your car their car very quickly. They settle in very quickly. They'll be in your bathtub one night, making it like they've been living there for 10, 20 years. But anyway, so then what they're going to do is they're going to continue to, add rules to the situation and devalue, triangulate, compete, all that stuff that they're going to do. We've talked about so much. But once they get, to a point to where they know that you love them unconditional, and they know that you're a solid source supply, you're never going to leave them, in their mind at least, they're going to, devalue you to the point to where they're going to start cheating on you. Sometimes they say even the day after the marriage, like they were already almost like absolutely like a flip of a switch, man. They were already evil to people. For me, it was like, I saw it even before I got married, but oh shoot. But yeah, so it was one of them things where Anyway, the narcissist shut the light out. That's what it was. Um, it was the psychic abilities. But anyway, yeah. So they'll do that. They'll cheat on you, and then they want to be able to come back, or just they don't want to discuss anything. Right? It turns into word salad. You know, they have all that reactive abuse that they do and stuff. So they like for you to be isolated, and they want you to make their life orderly, because they're usually, if you go to their house, it's going to be a wreck. It's going to be a mess. And then their car is usually a mess. But sometimes they'll look a lot of times impeccable when they're at work, or they're out on a date with you. They may look totally like put together. But outside of what people see outside behind closed doors, their house is a wreck, their car is a wreck, and their personal life is a wreck, and they're cheating, lying compulsively, pathologically, and you're there to supply 3 roles for them, and that's to be their admirer. You're supposed to always build them up, never break them down, because there is no such thing as constructive criticism when you're dealing with a God type complex, and that's what they are. You're their slave, you're their in-house slave, their in-house trash can, where they're going to project onto you so that they can go out there and you're going to regulate their emotions. And so they can wear their mask and have it straight, looking good, and then they're going to be very nice to people, because they threw all of their anger and hate and cheating and lying and pathology onto you. You accepted it because you grew up in these families, and you didn't know that you've been brought up to be groomed to take care of these individuals of sons and daughters of perdition, like Satan's children or something. And so you were doing it when you were a child, and now you're doing it as an adult. And they want you to be their admirer. They want you to be for their sexual needs. And then they want you to be there for their parental role. And basically, they want to focus on themselves, their supply, and that's it. And if they have children with you, that's just supply for them. They want them around. They want them to do good in school. They want them to look good, because that is where they get supply, when they're smart, when they look good, when they do good in sports and all that. But they don't want to be there for them. They don't love their children. They don't love anybody because they don't have love in them. So, and then having sex with them usually is quite mechanical, but they want all your admiration. They want all your love, all of your empathy, all your intimacy, when they want it, how they want it. And you ask how high, but they don't want to give you anything. It's an all or nothing. I remember narcissist telling me one time I broke up with her and I was divorcing her that she was like, I'm all or nothing. And it's true, they're black and white. I get that, but they are all or nothing. But you're the one given the all, and they're the one given the nothing. That's where I thought that was funny. I was thinking about that the other day. But yeah, so that's what they want. They want to be able to leave the house, have an anchor place to come home to, a safe spot. And just like when they were growing up, they were a golden child. Maybe they typically, if they're a golden child, they were like the only child and they could do no wrong, or they were like the only female in the family or the only son in the family. And they were lifted up to this God status and this king or queen or princess or prince type status in their home, and they could never do wrong. They don't know what no is. They manipulate it and treat people bad, and they would always get away with it. And they had no boundaries formed in childhood, and so as an adult they don't understand boundaries, nor do they care. They should understand them, because everybody should be humane and know that we should reflect and treat people like we want to be treated. But these individuals at some point become so corrupt. But then they want you to take over that role. So they go from the child parent in the household. They usually stay with them long because they're codependent to the family. A lot of times, not always, and then they want to transfer to you, and they want you to be that parent role at this point. A lot of times they will quit having sex with their spouse, because now they don't want to, because they really put you in that role. And so then it'd be freaky for them to have sex with like a parent figure, is how they could start thinking of it as. So then they will find secondary supply, so they have a sexual supply, tertiary supply. At least this is what textbook says. I think it's kind of a cop out, but there's a lot of cop outs when it comes to narcissists. I mean, their whole life's a cop out. But so this is kind of how it works, and they just continually break you down. You just got to accept it, and if you don't accept it, they'll threaten you and they'll divorce you and they'll destroy you financially. If you have kids with them, they're gonna take as much as they can with the kids. If they're a female, then you're screwed if you're a male, typically. And then, you know, we all know how child support and all that stuff. I mean, I don't have children, but I mean, I've seen enough of it on TV, and I have friends that have paid a ton of money, man, sometimes. And childcare, just general, is like crazy. And then you have to deal with them until each and every one of the children is 18 years of age. But the thing is, you know, the narcissist harem, as they get older, just continues to grow. And then they get meaner too, and they don't like to wear the mask because they get all wrinkled up and they just don't have the energy to. And they're just more and more angry because they can't keep the trash inside them down anymore. They keep pushing it down, but it's kind of filling up. It's overflowing all the time. A lot of people don't want to be with them as they get older, and they usually, like I said, end up alone. Every relationship ends with them, unless it's like a borderline relationship. You may... borderlines are they can be misdiagnosed from, you know, trauma versus being a borderline. So if they got help for the trauma, it may look like a borderline, but they may not be. That in a lot of cases has occurred. So I always say, out of the cluster Bs, the one with the most heart, the one that is maybe has the best chance of recovery would be the borderline. But you know, a borderline is but because they may not be a true borderline, that's my point. And so, but if you do have a borderline, there's a possibility you could stay with them for a forever, a relationship, and but it's not going to be easy. It's not going to be enjoyable or happy at all. But I'm saying those are the ones that may be able to last for a lifetime. Although you can do it with a narcissist too sometimes if you have no boundaries and you accept them cheating on you, lying to you, and doing whatever the heck they're going to do. I mean, and you still don't know. They still may leave you if they find somebody better. So, but you know, the triangulation is horrible, man, and the competition, those are two things that are really bad. And then it's crazy. Anyway, damn. Well, anyway, give me a like, a subscription, thumbs up. Love y'all. Peace out. Stand tall, soldier up. Peace.